This is how a house is going to come to you. This is the first floor plan of a house that has already been laid out. This is the design, and everything that you're looking at here are just geometric shapes or lines at this point. Um, all of the walls are just made up of two lines. So um, this is the inside line that represents the inside of the wall. This is the line that represents the outside of the wall. So these lines are 3.5 inches apart. You can see the Y there is 3.5 inches. Sometimes I'll use a square tool to to measure something. So 3.5 inches, that's a 2x4. So 2x4s measure 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and a 2x6 is 5.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So all I'm going to be having you do initially, and it'll be very easy, is to draw the exterior walls in a clockwise fashion. And I separate the house in my mind between the main house, where there's heating and air conditioning, from like the garage, which does not have heating and air conditioning. So for this layout, this is the garage over here. Then this is the front porch. This is the back porch. And then everything else that actually shows white here, that has a white shape behind it, is the main house. So you're just going to be drawing the exterior walls first. So to make sure, so everything that you draw has to be on the right layer and in the right class and drawn with the correct tool. So the way to do that initially would be to go, just in case that in case I save the file in a way that you're not ready to draw right from the get-go, I would go over to this tab here, which is your navigation palette. It's the Save Views tab. If you're working on the first floor plan, you go to Working 1. If you're working on the second floor, you go to Working 2. So Working 1. If you go to that, I know that you are on the active layer, the first floor plans. I don't want you to draw on the guides layer. I want you to draw on the first floor plan. So the minute you double click on Working 1, you're going to automatically be in the correct layer. Next, you want to create, you're doing your exterior walls, so you want to, I'll tell you what the exterior walls are going to be made out of. So you need to pick your class next. These are going to be siding. These exterior walls will be made out of siding as opposed to brick or stucco or something else. So you just scroll down here to walls and then scroll down to siding. So the layer is now picked. The class is now picked. And all you got to do is get the wall tool, which you just click on this building shell, and then you get the wall tool. And the last thing you got to do is click on the wall style, which it's already, this is going to be an exterior wall 2x4, so it's already chosen. But here's some of the ones above this line are the ones that I'd be having you choose from. So you grab this one. This is exterior 2x4. So all of the walls are going to be drawn in a clockwise motion around the entire house. So I'm just going to pick this corner down here. I'm going to zoom in. If you click, you want to make sure that you're clicking. The guides are here so that you're clicking on them. In other words, you're not just going, you know, I'm just going to double click. Like, that's not right. The guides are there. The guides are there so that you're drawing on the actual lines. So I can zoom way in, and you have sound to tell you where you're at, and then you also have, like, that says endpoint. You have those little visual cues to tell you if you're on the guide or not. So I'm on right there. So just going to click once and let go, And I'm going to zoom out. And if I hold down, you can see that I can draw the wall at any angle. If I hit the shift key, that locks me into drawing either 90 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, whatever. So if I'm drawing at a 90-degree angle, that's where I want all these walls are going to be, unless you got a 45 in there somewhere. All of these walls on this house are going to be at a 90-degree angle. So just keep the shift key down the whole time. Go over here. You can either hear or see that it's clicking right at that point. Going down, it's clicking at that point. The other way to know is a lot of these buildings are built. You can see that length L colon 20 foot 0 inches. A lot of these buildings are going to be built on 2 foot increments. So you got the sound cue, you got your shift key down so that you're drawing everything at perpendicular angles one to another. You have the visual cue, and then you also have that line length to tell you if you're drawing it correctly. So I'm going to click there, go up, that's to 2 feet, click, over to 10 feet, down 2 feet, over to 14, up to 6. The separator wall between the garage and the house is always a 2x6 wall, and I'm currently on an exterior 2x4 wall, but I'll change that later. So we're going to go to there. That's not clicking there, so I'm going to want to zoom way in. Make sure that it's on. See, it's on 20 feet, so I can see that I'm on the mark. I'm going to click, zoom back out. 18 feet. Now this, I think this is where I started. No, I started down below. So this is the corner that I started in. So when I click on this last point at 18 feet, that will kind of close the circuit, so it'll reconnect the last wall to the very first wall that I drew. Alright, so there's your walls right there. So because I have the layer set to a Z height, the walls as I draw them are being drawn both in 2D and in 3D. So I'm just going to show you that real quick. I'm going to turn off the guides layer, and I'm going to put this into a isometric view so you can see all these walls have a height. And you can look at the object info palette right here and see that they are 9 foot 1 1/8 inches tall. So it's kind of cool. You're drawing in 2D and 3D at the same time. So I'm just going to put this back in plan view, and I'm going to turn that guides layer back on. So that's how you do the exterior walls. So I said I was going to show you how to, so wait, let's do 2 more things. Let's draw the walls for the exterior of the garage. So I'm just going to continue to use a 2x4 wall on siding. Just click there, click there. Okay. So there's the garage walls. So you can see that so the garage separator wall has to be a 2x6 wall, which is 5.5 inches wide, and this little section outside of this little section also has to be a 2x6 wall. The guides will tell you how thick the walls have to be. So sometimes this will be a 2x6 wall, and this will remain a 2x4 wall. But if the guides are showing 2x6, make them 2x6. So the way you replace the walls You could do it a couple different ways, but the easiest way is to just select the wall, and then over here under Style in the Object Info palette, you just click on Replace. It's going to bring up something else. This is a wall replacement tool. So replace selected with. So this column on the left is what you currently have selected, and the part on the right is what you're replacing it with. So you're replacing the 2x4 wall with an exterior 2x6, and you're going to align the left side of the wall with the left side of the wall. So I'll show you, if you don't click the right buttons here, I'll show you what happens. So let's say you leave it like this. You can see that it took the center line of the existing wall and replaced it with the existing, or with the center line of the new wall. And you can see that it's not aligned correctly on the guidelines. So I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to go back to replace it with exterior 2x6, and let's say you did remember to go, oh, left side, okay, I'm going to click that, I'm going to hit OK. That's still not right because you took the left side of the existing and replaced it with the center line of the new one. So you can see that the center line of this 2x6 wall is right on where the left side of the previous wall was. So I'm going to undo, and I'll show the right way to do it is just to replace new wall is the exterior 2x6, and you're aligning both the left side and the left side, and that's aligned properly on the guidelines. And then this one will be the same. Just remember though, the direction shows you which way the wall is going. So the left side of this wall is actually this side because of the direction of the wall. So you're going to want to align left wall with left wall again. Okay, and that's that. And then one final thing would be to, some of the walls may not be healed properly. I'm just going to turn off the guides layer so you can see them. Like this doesn't look right, this intersection. Let me see how this looks up here. And this doesn't look right up here either. You can see this is made up of one wall, two walls, three walls. This down here is also made up of one wall, two walls, three walls. So you're going to have to use the wall join tool. Sometimes I will use this first, remove wall breaks. Just grab that tool and just make a box over this. That basically disconnects all of the walls at that particular intersection. So do that first. Then get the wall join tool. Do the L join mode first. And you're going to connect the exterior walls of the house first. So just click on that wall and then click on that wall. And then you're going to join this wall to this corner with the T mode. And that's the way it should look. So in this one, same thing. You really don't have to use that remove wall breaks. Sometimes you do. If you're having troubles, I probably didn't really need to do that. So wall join. So I'm joining these two walls first because they're both exterior. They're both part of the main shell of the house, and then I'm just going to add this wall to that. So the reason I'm doing it this way is because I want to basically, see, this isn't really a correct join. In the first part of that join, when I make an L join, it's making this correct. And then I'm connecting this garage wall to that properly connected L join. I'm just going to undo a couple things there. So that's the way we were. So make the L join and then just make the T join. And it's done. And you can just look around the exterior to see if any of the other, all the other intersections should be fine. So that's how you do exterior walls. So that would be the first step that I have you do. I would check it over to make sure it looks right. And then I would have you do the interior walls.